Can you characterize everything that the Fed has done this past week as essentially flooding the system with money?
Yes, exactly.
And there's no end to your ability to do that?
There is no end to our ability to do that.
Is the Fed just going to print money?
That's literally what Congress has told us to do. That's the authority that they've given us, to print money and provide liquidity into the financial system. And that's how we do it. We create it electronically, and then we can also print it with the Treasury Department, print it so that you can get money out of your ATM. I heard from a bank in our region, a well-to-do customer came in and said, I want to withdraw $600,000 of cash. Now, we can supply all the cash that the banks need to meet their customers' concerns, but it just speaks to the fear and the uncertainty that is rippling through the economy.
To the person who is about to grab their car keys and go to the ATM and take out $3,000, you say what?
You don't need to. Your ATM is safe, your banks are safe, there's enough cash in the financial system, and there is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve. We will do whatever we need to do to make sure that there's enough cash in the banking system.
Will the Federal Reserve ensure that banks have all the cash they need to satisfy whatever withdrawals may be coming?
Yes, this is the fundamental reason the Federal Reserve exists.
Well, that's fun. Let's print money.
It's one of my favorite clips.
It's always the dream.
What's up, Dag?
What up, dude?
How you doing this morning?
I'm doing all right. Chilling.
Good
Hope
deal.
you're going home today? Yeah.
Going home today? You been gone?
Yeah, I'm in the hospital.
Oh. What?
It's stupid. I had I feel funny this week. I had like chest pains and stuff yesterday.
Oh.
So because like my cardiac history, the wife was like, "Well, let's take you to the hospital." I was like, "Yeah, it's probably smart." Yeah, anyhow, so they wanted to hold me overnight, but no, it seems like I'm fine. I was just being a weenie.
Did I miss something on the page? I didn't read the page yesterday.
You must have.
I did not even look at it yesterday. I was so busy, so swamped this weekend.
So
Yes, you missed a lot.
We had a heart breakfast. So it's like egg white. It's awful.
Ugh.
Yes, you missed a lot. We did a night show on Friday. That was great fun. I have recommended everybody should watch that. And
I watched a few minutes of it when I got home and I was editing. But
everybody who I've convinced to watch it has laughingly said, "Y'all aren't right." Like, yes, I'm well aware that we are not right.
I turned it on when it started, and you guys were trying to get the Jackbox. You couldn't get the audio on it. And then I tuned back in about 11 or so.
Once we figured out what we were doing and how to do it, the T-shirt party the T-shirt competition was amazing. I mean, and this was probably the winner of the night. I don't know who drew the 3 dicks in a butt and then the slogan for England, but it was perfect combination.
The For England was mine. I was glad somebody put the gayest thing possible on it.
Oh my gosh.
It was
For England. Oh, it slays me. It's like adult Mad Libs.
Oh, what was it? Somebody drew the Twin Towers, and then the slogan
Free Palestine.
Yeah, free. And the slogan is Free Palestine.
That's awesome.
That one was pretty good too. That whenever I got that combination, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, and I immediately started saying, I've got the winner. Like y'all can't compete with this. This was gonna win.
That's awesome.
Yes, it was quite spectacular.
So what else has been going on in the world, gentlemen?
Oh, there was a massive fascist Nazi rally that went on over the weekend. It was pretty impressive.
Really?
Yeah, for all the fascism and Nazism, there were a lot of Black people and Jews who spoke on stage, but whatever. That's
I mean, they kind of get caught up in the Nazism, and you can't blame them, right?
Yeah.
My wife's going to one on Tuesday. Her and my son are going to go see Vance.
I was reading an article about how oh hell, I just commented on it. Let me pull it back up. It was from the Daily Beast, which is just absolute atrocious dog shit. Like the Daily Beast is a special kind of dog shit. Donald Trump's racist New York City rally was vile. It was also political suicide. Like, did y'all not see the 30,000 people in the arena plus the other 75,000 people outside in literal New York City? Yeah, it seemed like political suicide in there.
Oh my gosh. Like, they just can't help themselves, can they?
They cannot.
Do you think they do their headlines with a boggle, or do you think they do AI? I think it's boggle.
A lot of times I think it's AI, just based on how poorly worded they are more often than not. Like,
yeah, but I mean, you got to remember, they are journalists. They're professional journalists.
Every headline reads like it's an editorial, even when it's not, right? So I remember, like, when I was a kid, there was in the newspaper, right? And I know that journalism was still bullshit back then, right? But, like, at least had a better air about it, right? So, like, the regular part of the newspaper read like news and journalism, but then you had the editorial section, and then go nuts, right? All your own opinion. But nowadays, it's like every article is a fucking editorial.
Well, that's because they have retards writing the articles. Like,
yeah, man.
I mean, like, at least they had some intelligent people writing articles back then, right? Like, at least headlines, whatever. But now it's just, it's so bad.
The journalistic class is it leaves something to be desired these days.
Yeah. Yeah.
But while so, and I mean, this is the giant racist rally was following up the Trump interview with Joe Rogan, which last time I checked the numbers, it was up over like 30 million views. Like,
do you see the headline today that Kamala's team's pushing her to do the interview? Because that
needs to happen.
Suicide. That would be such suicide for her. She could not handle 3 hours with Rogan.
It was a smart move for her to decline it.
Maybe 20 minutes. Part. She might be able to get through 20 minutes
out of it. Yeah.
But there is no way on God's green earth she can get 3 hours with Rogan in. Absolutely not. And the best part about that interview is Trump's demeanor. He was calm. He wasn't screaming. He did a really good job in the interview.
So he wasn't like Trump?
Oh, no, he was still Trumpian. I mean, he still did the tremendous and everything was tremendous.
He did the weave and he talked about the weave and he told a lot of stories and they just like shot the shit and talked. And yeah, everything was the best ever. And he took a lot of pot shots at the general and Mark Milley and a bunch of others. Bolton. He took a hell of a shot at John Bolton. He was like, that dude's an idiot, but he was the right kind of idiot because whenever you go to like negotiate with other people, they're like, oh, he's got him. That dude's crazy. We should probably try to do some negotiating with him if that's the guy he's got with him. It's like he was he was pretty spot on and yeah. Yes, he rambled and he talked, but also they like had conversations. They talked about the windmills. They talked about UFC. They talked about all kinds of stuff outside of just like political stuff. It's interesting.
I thought it was a very well done interview.
Yeah, it definitely was. If you haven't had a chance to listen to it and you've got 3 hours to kill, I recommend it. And
I thought it was one of Trump's best interviews.
And since Dag's sitting in a hospital just waiting for him to kick him out, you might have 3 hours to kill.
I might.
Yeah.
Got a lot of Seinfeld in last night.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Didn't get a chance to use that new coffee maker, huh?
Never really got into
Seinfeld. No, not yet.
This wasn't my thing.
Do I have to send you some decaf for your heart?
No, I'm still gonna drink caffeine. I probably shouldn't drink so much of it. I probably shouldn't, do nicotine either. Oh God, I'm like almost like 48 hours without nicotine or pot now. Oh,
well, you're
rough.
clean. Your
Sorta.
system's not going to know what to do with itself.
I think clean is a relative term.
Yeah.
Ready for a whole new dag.
Next time we see Dag, he's gonna be wearing a shirt and tie and be all like church proper talk and stuff.
but so angry.
It's gonna be like the episode
of be so angry.
Like the episode of The League whenever they got Taco to stop smoking pot, and then he like became super smart and successful, and they're like, "Oh shit, we got to get him back on pot. This is not."
I think it's more like when Homer gets the crayon out of his brain.
Is there no room in this world for a man with 105 IQ? The smartest person in town. 105.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this is panicking liberals urge Kamala Harris to appear with Rogan as Trump's staggering ratings on the podcast are revealed. Elon Musk said, "Yep, it'd be a 3-hour train wreck." I mean, she won't do it.
She would never make it. She would never make it that long. She would probably do a 40-minute. That would be the max that she would do.
Even the shittiest, like, let's say the least viewed Joe Rogan interview is still more viewers than like the best viewed like cable news show, right? Because isn't like the best viewed like cable news show like maybe 200,000 people, but each like Joe Rogan interview like episode is like millions of listeners. Like he just beats them out no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the one headline? It's like the worst person ever is interviewing the worst person ever. It's like,
yeah, I heard that.
People, come on.
Like what is like, and like okay, like I can see like there might be many reasons that you might not give like Joe Rogan a lot of like credit, but like to just the worst person ever. The fuck.
That's because he goes against the narrative. Like if he was pushing their narrative, he would be the best person ever. It's pathetic.
Well, this is the kind of stuff that the Kamala camp has to resort to since they seem to be doing pretty shitty on every other front. 30,000 people were mad as hell once Beyonce left the Kamala rally without performing.
They billed it as a Beyonce concert.
Right.
They made it sound like a free concert.
Let's insane. We'll talk about that.
Oh, Kamala Harris rally in Houston, Texas was absolutely insane. You saw Beyonce and Kelly Rowland walked out. Kelly looked like Beetlejuice. And then after that, Kamala walked out, right? She gives him the hug, and everybody's so mad because they're like, what? 3 minutes? I thought we were going to get a free concert. Wait, what? What's going on? Wait, why is she hugging Kamala? I thought this was a concert. Oh, and then Kelly and Beyonce have a nice little moment, reminiscing. And then everybody realizes it was a bait and switch, and they walked their butts out. As soon as Kamala got on that dang stage, everybody was pissed off, rightfully so. They duped us. They duped the entire city of Houston, Texas. 30,000 pissed off people right before an election less than 2 weeks away. What is Kamala Harris thinking? It was a night to forget, I'll tell you that much.
She'll lose votes for that for sure.
I don't know if she loses votes, but it definitely.
Oh, I think she loses votes from those 30,000 people. Not saying like people in Detroit are going to vote against her because of that, but people there are going to vote against her because of that.
I mean, people in Detroit.
Maybe nobody there was.
You went and paid $40 for parking, and then got into that rally and thinking you're going to go see a Beyonce show, and all of a sudden you got to deal with that rambling wench. Like, hell no.
People in Detroit are not going to vote for Kamala because Lizzo got up on stage and said, if Kamala Harris wins, she's going to make the whole country look like Detroit. And everybody from Detroit's like, oh, fuck. This is not a good idea.
Downtown Detroit's actually really come back. It really has. Not the rest of the city, but the downtown has.
Did they get rid
of it? It has. I guarantee you it has.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure there's probably very nice parts of Detroit.
We were just down there, 2 weeks ago, I think? We were just down there a couple weeks ago.
Okay, so does that lose Kamala Harris more voters, the Beyonce bait and switch, or or this new ad trying to appeal to young men somehow.
Homo men?
Sorry, you can't do that.
What the hell, man? How'd you get in here?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we're banning porn nationwide.
You can't tell me what to do. Get out of my bedroom, you creep.
I won the last election, so it's my decision. I'm just going to watch and make sure you don't finish illegally.
Is that a serious ad?
It's a real ad. That's a real ad. They're not running.
Oh my God, you got to send that to me.
They're not running it on television. It's only on like social media. But yes, that is a real, like this is the Democrats' pitch to get young men to vote for Kamala Harris. Is if you don't vote
for Trump, you don't
if
get to
vote
watch
for
porn.
Trump, you don't get to watch porn. Yes, that's
Jesus criminy.
That's winner chicken dinner right there.
I was watching a bunch of No on 3 ads yesterday. That's the recreational pot amendment for Florida, and they're a fucking trip. There's this one. It's like this hot blonde chick, and she's like, she's like young. She's like, I'm from Colorado, and I got to tell, like, it destroyed my state. And she's like, oh yeah, murder skyrocketed, and all this pot's getting shipped to Colorado. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's leaving Colorado to go to the illegal states, like, first off.
And the murders went up because of all the illegals that they brought in, not because of pot.
They're like all the fentanyl laced pot. And I'm like, no. Like, and then, of course, if it's illegal pot, of course, it's not going to be fentanyl laced because it's, like, all sorts of regulated and tested.
What's wrong with fentanyl laced pot?
I mean, if they do it right, it's probably really fun.
Yeah.
Look, my last operation, I woke up pumped full of fentanyl, and I was feeling no pain. So I knew when it wore off. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
It's and stuff like fentanyl. This is like what Dr. Drew says. I don't agree with Dr. Drew on everything, but when it comes to like drugs, it's like nothing's really objectively good or bad. It's like, is fentanyl bad? Well, not in the hospital. Like opiates aren't bad. When you get in a car accident, but if you're doing them for fun on the weekends, that might be a different story. That might be pretty bad. So, there's a time and a place for everything, and it's called college.
Well, it's not Dr. Drew, but speaking of doctors, we got Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil showed up on stage yesterday at the racist Nazi Trump rally and threw his endorsement to.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the next Vice President of the United States, Senator J.D. Vance.
We had Dr. Phil gave his endorsement of Trump and Vance. Had Hulk Hogan on stage as well. Another bald guy didn't necessarily give an endorsement to Trump, but he was not painting a very bright picture for the future of the Kamala Harris campaign.
I'll never forget. I live directly across the street from the steel mill, and we were doing an event there for Clinton. And I asked the union president, I'm like, hey, where we are on Trump? And he's like, yeah, probably half or 60%, two-thirds are voting for him. And I was like, oh, that sucks. And then immediately there was a guy getting off, and he had a truck, and he had truck nuts on it. You know what truck nuts are?
Do I look like I know what truck nuts are?
It's balls hung on the hitch of a truck. And he honked, and he was like, "Go Trump," as he drove by. And it's like, hey, we're in trouble. And it's undeniable. And
do you think he flips when Trump wins? I think he flips.
No, he's in the right part of Pennsylvania that he can be a not psychopath leftist and still be a Democrat and hold office.
I got money on the fact he flips.
It's like Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin's never going to flip to Republican, even though he's probably the most conservative Democrat in the Senate, because that's where he's from. He is from a part of the country that is still to this day and probably forever will be yellow dog Democrats. It was.
Wait, which ones are yellow dogs? Are those the gay ones? No, those are the blue dog.
The gay one, no, the yellow dog Democrats are. So the saying was, they could run a yellow dog for whatever the position is, and these guys are going to vote for it. That's why they're called yellow dog Democrats. It doesn't matter who the candidate is; they're going to vote Democrat.
Something
and it's a lot of very rural parts that generally were pro-South, pro-Confederacy, that when the Confederacy was Democrats, and they are and will forever be Democrats. They're like back home where I'm originally from, up until very, very recently, you couldn't even there was 0% chance you could even get on a ballot if you were running as a Republican. Like, you had to be a Democrat in that county. It's just within the last 10, 12 years that's changed. Because that's the kind of, that's just the tradition of that place. I remember so me, Dad, and a handful of others were the first significant number of people to register Republican in the county. It was 10 of us, and an old friend of the family told my dad, he was like, if your granddad knew you were registered as a Democrat, he'd roll over in his grave. And my dad said, if my granddad knew what the Democrat Party had become, he would roll over in his grave. They do not represent us anymore. But it's that old school, that old head mindset that we've always been Democrats and will always be Democrats there. And it's also isolated enough communities that it doesn't matter what the Democrats say and do in Washington. It doesn't affect you in rural BFE Kentucky. So it doesn't matter. As long as you're local Democrats. But the problem that's happened over the last 10, 12 years is the Democrat Party as a whole now has to represent and reflect what the Democrat Party from the top down says. And that's also what is radicalizing and driving a lot of people away from the Democrat Party, is because it has become that thing. There is no room for your own thoughts or your own opinions. You either toe the party line or they run you out on a rail. And so that's why a lot of demographic stuff has changed. But that's also why a Fetterman can stay a Democrat and be more moderate and say stuff like that, like what he said, and has been saying since he seems to have his brain starts to heal. Funny that the guy that full on brain damaged, as his brain gets better, he becomes more reasonable and logical and less crazy leftist.
Yeah, he's a lesson. Well, and then when he got rid of his wife too, he became a lot more reasonable.
Did he get rid of her, or did she just kind of go away?
I don't know. Pull up the Vance thing and I put it in the chat on Signal.
I've got several Vance things. Pump the brakes a little bit. We got another kind of bald guy, big heavy set bald guy that we need to talk about.
You got a problem with bald guys?
No, that they all have something fun and interesting to say today. We had Dr. Phil with his endorsement of Trump. We got Fetterman talking about truck nuts, and then we got this guy talking about how we're going to take care of the illegals.
We have an estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is it worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
Yeah, baby. So you got to post the video I posted on the.
I need somebody to drop an edit of that where the sunglasses. He says that, and it just
there is. I dropped it on. I put it in I thought I put it in there. I don't know. I put it in one of the chats. I have so many freaking chats open.
You didn't put it in ours.
chill. I'll find it for you. I might have put it in the. I don't know, man. There's so much stuff. I'll find it. I got it.
You didn't put it in that one either.
You spend too much time on Twitter, Steve.
Yeah, you need to pump the brakes. Pump the brakes a little bit.
Dude, I've spent like 20 minutes this morning on it, and that's about it. I go on there for like a few minutes. I pull everything I want, and then I go somewhere else. Or I usually go back to work. Ah, damn it. I can't find it. It's somewhere around here.
And, we're talking about radicalization of the left and how that's kind of driving young people, especially young males away from Democrats. It might not hurt that this is the difference you get between Democratic women and Republican women. Volunteer to make America great again. The New York Young Republican Club. Can't believe they allow those in New York.
Oof.
She has a certain look to her, though, so that might be. No, nobody picked up on that.
Little tiny hat.
Yeah. One of them. No such thing as too much time on Twitter, says Brandon. I don't know. Chris Cuomo might be spending too much time on Twitter. Although, in his case, that might actually be a good thing.
Stop thinking that the people who support Trump are like Trump, that they speak like Trump, that they act like Trump. They don't. They want to hire Trump to do a dirty job. They want him to be a virus to the political corpus. They want him to disrupt, to destroy, to demean those that they disrespect and dislike, the system that they distrust and despise. They want someone that they believe has been done to them and that they cannot do themselves. That's why they don't care that he exhibits terrible behavior, because they're putting him into a terrible place. If you're sending somebody into the jungle, do you really care if they're a savage? You see what I'm saying? And you have to understand it that way. You may not agree, you may not accept, you may not like, but that's what it is.
Who was it that Chris Cuomo debated or whatever and just got absolutely owned? And then after that, he seemed to have
Smith.
Was it? It was Dave Smith.
Here, I just popped that in the StreamYard chat for you. Last one. There you go. In fact, I thought you were playing this one when you played that video.
No,
there we go.
You didn't send this one to me.
Is there a way to?
I posted it on my other Twitter page.
Separating families?
Of course there's. Families can be deported together.
Come on. Sicker than your average. Apple twist cabbage or big stick.
Who is that guy? I like him.
I don't know. I like him too.
Trump needs to put him in charge of all deportations. Are we going to do an election night show?
I work, so I will not be doing one.
Sorry, Dag. Are we boring you with non-libertarian talk?
That's okay. When do I talk about libertarian shit?
Dag's probably on some good drugs right now.
I know. I'm just messing with
He's
that.
barely aware that we're even here.
I'm on aspirin, guys. Not fun.
Not fun.
Wow, that would kill me.
Not the good aspirin.
Yeah, not the good aspirin.
So that was 60 minutes. This is Meet the Press. Like, when are these big mainstream legacy news stations, news shows going to stop bringing smart people on that just absolutely own them? This one is pretty good. The next one is even
retards. They can't stop.
The next one is even they think they're gonna like one up JD Vance, and they're gonna like show how terrible he is, and then he just owns them time and time again.
Yeah.
So this week we
China was behind a broad hacking campaign targeting the phones of both presidential campaigns, highlighting the threat that China poses to this country. And yet Donald Trump recently called his domestic political opponents, quote, the enemy from within, and said they are more dangerous than Russia and China. Do you believe that people like Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi are more dangerous than Russia and China?
I love the face that JD Vance makes whenever he's listening to them say this ridiculous bullshit. Like he's just sitting here winding up. I think it's just his natural.
I hope he talks about the prosecution of the January 6 people here. I really do. I haven't seen this clip yet, but I really hope he does.
No.
More dangerous than Russia and China?
Well, I think what Donald Trump said is that those folks pose a greater threat to United States' peace and security because America is strong enough to stand up to any foreign
Do you
adversary.
agree with him? They pose a larger threat to the United States than Russia and China?
What he said, and I do agree with this, what he said is that the biggest threat we have in our country, it's not a foreign adversary because we can handle these guys. We can handle foreign conflicts. We can handle. Look, under Nancy Pelosi's long life in public leadership, the United States has gone from the preeminent industrial power of the world to second next to China. That fundamentally belongs on Nancy Pelosi's shoulders. And if we're going to have a more prosperous country, we've got to recognize our own leadership is why we lost our industrial base to China. Our own leadership is failing to lead this country into peace and prosperity. And of course, Kamala Harris, look, when I look at the biggest threats to America, Kristen, I think the fact that people can't afford groceries, the fact that we can't meet our recruitment goals in the military, the fact that Americans have a wide open southern border, that's a way bigger threat than any foreign threat. And yes, it's caused by broken leadership.
Things are all kind of related to foreign threats, though. The military and the border, in fairness. But I mean, I get what he's saying. I kind of agree. And also, whenever people say some shit like, "Oh, China and Russia, they're trying to hack the cell phones," it's like, yeah, and are we not trying to do the exact same thing to them? You know, like I'm sure that the CIA is also trying to get into their fucking cell phones and shit if they haven't already. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, yeah, dude, that's just like the game.
Well, I mean, there was already the stuff with Apple several years ago where like the FBI and the government was so pissed off at Apple because Apple wouldn't share the data with them. It's like everybody's like, "Oh, Apple's stealing your data." And it's like, okay, but they're stealing it for themselves. They're not like selling it to the FBI. Like I'm fine with that. That's cool. Apple's stealing my data so that they can sell me shit that I don't need but might want. The FBI's stealing it so that they can come after me for posting spicy memes and having wrong think. It's like TikTok stealing your data. Like, okay, have you looked at TikTok Shop? Like, TikTok Shop actually like has decent products on there that you might actually want to buy. Like,
I'm more concerned that the FBI and the CIA has access to my phone shit than TikTok. I'm more concerned that the government has access to it, not TikTok.
Right. It's like all of these.
And we've said this before.
Your data, it's just distraction from the ones who are
before. The only reason the Democrats and the government was going after TikTok is because they could not control TikTok. That's the only reason, because TikTok would not bow to what they wanted.
Well, and the FBI needs your data so that they can push propaganda and bullshit that they know is false, but because it drives a narrative.
Yeah, so is the FDA.
Ask yourself a basic question about network integrity. You guys talked about the Russia hoax nonstop.
The FBI was investigating it. The FBI was investigating it. And we recovered them.
And so you
I wish you would have got up and bitch slapped them.
Agents and put them on your network as if they were the gospel truth. You did it again and again. A viewer of your network would have believed that Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin conspired in 2016.
No.
That was totally and preposterously false.
No.
Well, that's
what you just said is false. We covered an FBI investigation. I don't know why you want to talk about the FBI investigation.
You covered it in a way that gave credence to anonymous sources' accusations. You did it yourself. Your network did it, Jake. But again, can we talk about the issues that Americans care
I'm
most
talking about
about
things that Donald Trump has said.
Yes.
If you have an issue with whether or not he's talking about the economy enough, that's between you and your running mate. I'm talking about things he has said this week.
Every single rally that he does, he talks about how he wants to unleash American energy so we can lower the cost of groceries. He talks about the fact that housing has become unaffordable. He talks about the wide open border, Jake. Kamala Harris and her allies, you know what's interesting? Kamala Harris and her media allies, and I would put CNN in this category. You guys,
They wouldn't.
You guys seem to care.
I'll tell you that they wouldn't.
Well, they should watch your network more because you guys seem to care more about Donald Trump's past than the future of the American people. We're running this campaign on making the American dream.
I'm specifically asking about how Donald Trump is going to be president in the future should he win. And then we're being told
He's going to pursue economic policies that lower the cost of groceries and make life more affordable again. He talks about it every single day on the campaign trail, and so do I. What you're talking about is an anonymously sourced story, or one guy
Nothing anonymously sourced.
or who one guy who is a disgruntled employee.
I told you
where
10
five other
people
pushed back against him and said that what he said was dishonest. So why don't we talk about the policy that's affecting American citizens and not what Donald Trump allegedly said, according to one guy who's pissed off because he got fired by Donald Trump?
Tapper was so.
I need to watch the rest of that interview. Was that not the same set as the 60-minute interview? It looked like the exact same set.
They all share sets, I'm sure. No, it's different, but I think the way they light it
similar. I don't know. No, I thought the chairs were same, but
well, I mean, okay. Here's the. Hang on, let me pull it back up. So here's
how we gotta know.
Here's Meet the Press. Here's CNN. Like they all look very similar. Where was the what I do with the 60 minutes? Yeah, all of their sets look the same.
I just didn't know if they all recorded on the same day. Just all use the same set.
I think if nothing else, like Democrats would be good at decorating.
I know, right? Yeah. And it was, I looked it up. It was the Blue Dog Republicans, are the gay Republicans. That's what it is.
I thought there was the Log Cabin Republicans or the gay Republicans.
Log Cabin. That's what I meant. Log Cabin.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry.
Yeah, they believe that Lincoln was a homo, which I do too. But
Lincoln was absolutely homo. They didn't have to make a documentary about that. Everybody in the South could have told you Lincoln was a fact.
The American Dad episode where Stan he unwittingly makes a gay play about Lincoln. He doesn't realize it. It's a Lincoln lover. You know, it's about Lincoln and not his bodyguard. Who was the guy he was supposedly gay with? His secretary or attaché or something. And all the gay people start coming to the show, and then they ask him to be the speaker of their Republican convention, which is what he really wants to do. And he finds out that the Log Cabin Republicans are the gays, so he starts acting all gay to fit in.
Nice.
It's awesome.
That was an excellent one.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
Some more JD Vance.
Jesus.
Some more JD Vance. Vance was the best pick. Like, dude is sharp. He knows how to talk. Like, he is everything that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz aren't. And even in a lot of ways, he's a lot of things that Donald Trump isn't in terms of just his ability to
he sounds more serious than Trump.
Yes, to be very concise, very serious, really stick them with like facts and stuff. Vance is top notch. Here he is at yesterday's Nazi rally.
Now, the other day, CNN asked if she had made any mistakes as vice president. Now, here's what she actually said, and I am quoting word for word. She said, in my role as vice president, I probably worked very hard at making sure that I am well-versed on issues, and I think that is very important.
In my role as vice president, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that I am well-versed on issues, and I think that's very important. It's a mistake not to be well-versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer a question.
I'm a nerd. I heard that clip of her. What got me was when she says
Mistake
probably.
not to be well-versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer a question. Now, I have no idea what any of that means, and frankly, neither do any of you. None of us know what the hell she says. Now, she may not be able to name any of her mistakes, but the American people sure can.
What were you saying, Dak?
Hold on.
He's getting
his drugs.
Oh, I figured they sent the hot nurse in to shave his balls. Not necessarily, not necessarily because like there was something that they need for it, but just
just for fun,
just to make it stay a little more comfortable.
Oh, isn't that cute?
It's like, this dude's had a rough night. Why don't you go shave his balls? Huh? He'd probably appreciate it. I mean, who wouldn't?
Well, hopefully he enjoys that. I don't think we're gonna get Dag back again.
Yeah, he'll be back. He hadn't left yet. I know we've talked about our vasectomy. Steve, did you have a vasectomy?
Hell no. Nowhere near me with a knife.
What a puss.
Yes, very much. No, I had I actually considered it, and one of my really good friends' brother had it done, and he's got the ice pack, and he's sitting there, and he's like, I guess the ice pack broke. And he looks down, and it's just covered in blood. Like they nicked something, and it apparently broke open later, and they had to rush him to the hospital and get it sewed up because he was pretty low on blood. Like the whole couch was covered in blood. And ever since then, I was like, no, hell no. Nope, not doing it. So
I think that's pretty rare.
Yeah, that is, and I don't care. I'm not getting it done.
Sorry about that. What'd you ask me?
I don't know. What were you saying?
How the ball shaving went.
Ball shaving?
No, Justin said you were getting your ball shaved just now.
No. Food order.
Yeah, what'd you get? More eggs?
Well, hopefully it doesn't even matter. She took my food order for tomorrow, but I'm supposed to go home today. So, but yes, if I have here tomorrow, it'll be more eggs, but French toast. And they said I can have coffee. I don't know if it's decaf or not. I'm not gonna ask and just pretend it's caffeinated, and then I can, It's one of those things. Like if you were to serve me decaf but tell me it was caffeinated coffee, I'd probably just feel caffeinated because like a placebo effect kind of thing. So I can just pretend. Like, dude, after I had my my heart valve operation, the next morning they brought me fucking coffee. And I didn't ask if it was decaf or not. I just pretended that it was regular coffee.
Sweet.
Drank it and enjoyed it, Because I'd be really shocked if they would bring me caffeinated coffee the morning after heart surgery.
Maybe you can talk them into bringing you a beer.
Oh, I almost asked, can I get a glass of vino with that dinner?
Shit. We just told all the family secrets.
Is she drunk?
Seems like it.
Actually, I should ask more. When is she not drunk?
Why does Gretchen Whitmer look like a tranny?
Because
does.
Oh, she totally looks like one. She went from pretty decent looking to looking like a tranny pretty quick.
Yeah, COVID hit that bitch hard. Like the fake assassination attempt really took something out of her. Like
when the evil comes out, man, it just comes out, and like that's the way it comes out, is looking like that.
Like she used to be pretty all right, and here over the last couple of years, she's gone downhill quick. It's like she hit that white woman wall and just right off the edge of the cliff. Yeah, this is the attempt to appeal to another attempt to appeal to male voters is showing Kamala Harris and Gretchen Whitmer sitting at a bar, casually drinking and pretending that they don't realize that there are cameras there, even though like the cameras and the microphones were just surrounding them. Like you would have to be completely smashed or blind to not realize that it was all there.
We should end the show with this. Or a retard.
They're sitting there just pretending that, they got microphones, they can hear us. Like, oh my gosh, these dumb bitches.
I'm honestly shocked she didn't pick Whitmer for her VP.
That's too much estrogen on the ticket.
Yeah, that's a tall enough order.
Well, I mean, technically, or
right. The American people, you might can convince the American people to elect a woman, but putting two of them. Yeah,
no, I'm saying technically, is Whitmer a woman? I mean, she looks kind of like.
Once their periods sink, this whole thing's fucked. The wife kept setting off a metal detector at the hospital yesterday. I said, about to start your period. Sure enough. All that iron.
This is pretty. This is a pretty hilarious post. It was a comment on the original. I thought this was Bruce Jenner at first. See, but that doesn't work because Bruce Jenner is a Republican. So,
and stunning and brave.
Yes, that as well.
Yeah, it's very stunning, very brave.
Ooh, I wonder if I can find a way to share it on here. Actually, my Halloween costume. I cross-dressed, guys.
Ooh.
I was an old woman, but I was going to like a really bad undercover cop, so I kept my really bushy mustache. And I had Erica's Janet Reno wig from a couple years ago. The Janet Reno wig, dress, and the mustache.
Janet Reno. Ugh.
Pistol in my pantyhose. Yeah. Yeah, that was the year she was Janet Reno and I was Grady Judd, which is funny because like being like, so the theme of like the costume like thing for the party was like dressed as the scariest statist, right? So like, you know, I was like Judd, he's the most local to me.
God, you guys are so libertarian.
Oh man, it was great. One of our friends was Fauci. The other his wife looks a lot like AOC, so she got the tax the rich dress. And they were actually this year they were over. They were telling us that they had stopped to eat in the small town by me before they got to the party, dressed like that, dressed as Fauci and AOC, and like the whole like restaurant's like murmuring and like looking at them. And finally, somebody came up to them and asked them like, "What the fuck's up with their clothes?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we're going to a Halloween party. It's irony. We hate these people." And then like the whole like restaurant was like laughing and clapping for them. Like, it's a fucking trip, man. Like, oh man, I love my town. Like, who are these weirdos in the city dressed as these Democrats? But yeah, I was thinking, oh man, like, 'cause somebody had said to me, like, oh man, you better hope Grady Judd doesn't find out. He'll be mad. And I'm like, no. If he thought somebody was dressing up as him because they like him, he'd be thrilled. If he thought someone was dressing up as him because they were scared of him, he would be thrilled times 5. Like, he would love it. Like, he'd love it either way, dude. Like, yeah, he's that kind of dude.
If he thought they were making fun of him, he'd probably be even more happy about it. Like hell yeah.
Yeah, and he knows he's doing his job, right?
Right.
It's like, damn straight, especially some low life like me, you know.
Sorry, I was looking.
Let's see. What else we got going on? Dag, oh shit. I hate to.
You okay, Justin? You didn't just shoot yourself, did you, in the balls?
No, my phone fell off my lap. I was just sitting here, and I guess I just moved a little too much. And anyway, my phone fell. Dag, I hate to break it to you, but you're gonna lose this week. And don't feel bad if you like didn't set your lineup. There was no way you were gonna win this week anyway. Like Adam Nutter just happened to catch like the best week of his fantasy life, and he would have beat literally all of us. So it
You
happened.
mean this past weekend?
Well, like the last
game today. You were saying this week.
The last games will be
Okay.
played tonight. So yeah, this weekend, this fantasy week.
Yeah, and I set my lineup this week.
I try to remind you if I like notice something on your lineup that like could obviously use some help. I gave my wife some terrible advice. I told her like take one guy out because he was listed as questionable before the game, and he hasn't been a real consistent producer anyway. And another guy on her lineup got traded to a much better team. I was like, he's gonna have a hell of a week. He's on a good team now. I was like, that guy, you can put him on the bench. And the guy that I told her to start got like 8 points, and the dude on the bench got like 26. So I was like, that's my bad, but she won anyway, so she won't be mad at me.
Yeah, all my wide receivers are questionable or injured all of a sudden. It's like, God damn it.
As long as she doesn't like look at her like player by player scores and she just pays attention to the fact that she won, she won't get mad at me for giving her bad advice. Let's see what else we got. Oh, speaking of some football, AOC
Dude, the Lions,
and,
man, Lions killed it the other day.
Yeah, the Lions are good. Speaking of some football, AOC and Tampon Tim were playing some Madden, and this was
Tampon Tim, I love it.
They did like a live stream of them playing Madden in the middle of primetime afternoon football and the Trump rally going on all at the same time. Like, y'all are competing with two massive things that you're never gonna.
No, and I keep going back to this. This is Project 2025 from Personal Freedoms. I think a lot of folks on here are kind of independent folks, independent thinkers about things. Why would you want the government telling you what books to read or what doctor to see or how big your family can be?
Hold on. You gotta pause this for a second. The guy's bitching about telling people what to read and shit and not, but they want to stop people from talking about anything they don't like.
Correct.
Fucking lunatics. Sorry, go on.
It's
pissing me off.
And so I think you talk about football planning, it's the same way. If you're going to draw up a playbook in football, you're going to use it. Those guys drew up a playbook, and it's Project 2025.
And they put millions of dollars into Project 2025. You don't spend millions.
Madden on a stream, talk about interesting shit, and actually be fucking good at Madden. It was embarrassing in every possible way. It also got like, as far as like a gaming stream goes, it got nothing. Like, I think Trey used to do better numbers than that when he was doing gaming streams. No offense to Trey, you're a fantastic gamer.
That sounded
Trey.
like a swipe, man.
The reason I don't do gaming streams because I'm not good and I don't do that kind of stuff.
I'm just not a gamer. I suck at playing games. The only thing I would ever play is Call of Duty, Black Ops. That's it. And I suck at it, but I just enjoyed playing it.
Oh, Black Ops 6 came out. As soon as we get done, I'm going to go turn the Xbox back on and let it finish downloading. I might actually play some Black Ops. I really loved Black Ops 3. I played a lot of that with both Sean and with my stepson. I did a playthrough on my own solo, and then I did a playthrough with Kaylin, and then I did a playthrough with Sean, and then the two of them played together, and then we did the Nightmares and everything else. It was awesome. And then Black Ops 4 was just all multiplayer. It didn't have a single player, or it didn't have like a story mode, and I really didn't get into it. I've played a little bit. I've played a little bit of 5. I've played a little bit of 5, but not a whole lot. But with 6 coming out, I'm probably gonna sit down and like really, now that 6 is out, once it gets downloaded, I'll probably sit down and play it. I don't know. I'm not good at the multiplayer stuff. I'd rather do campaign mode and stuff.
I just enjoyed playing Domination. That was it. Like, just play Domination, just have some fun.
And say the nice thing with Black Ops 6 is if you got Game Pass, it's free. So
what does the Game Pass cost?
$15 a month, I think. But it comes with a whole bunch of other stuff as well. And I play a whole lot of stuff on that. All of the Fallout games. So if you like the Fallout games, Dag, Game Pass might be worth it because it's got like all of the Fallout games on there.
I tried to play that once, Fallout. It was kind of boring, in my opinion.
Well, maybe that's because you're retarded.
Maybe.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.